This video is titled, Gesturing Insults Duplicate the Involuntary Body Movements of Weak or Inferior Human Beings. According to Happy Theory, every insulting physical gesture created by every human culture that has ever existed was inspired by the actual physical appearance of a weak or inferior human being. The insulting physical gesture that is the basis for this video is shown in this picture. The insulting gesture is being made by holding the left hand up to the face, fully extending the thumb and touching its tip to the tip of the nose, while the fingers are extended and splayed apart. The man's mouth is hanging open, and his tongue is hanging out of his mouth. All of those relatively small movements of individual parts of the body are accompanied by a leaning forwards of the entire upper body and the head. According to Happy Theory, the collection of body movements involved in making that insult are the same movements that are made uncontrollably by human beings who have a weak or undeveloped yin part of the body. The affected individuals literally cannot stop those parts of their body from moving the way they do. The gesture is an insult because it is saying, I know you cannot stop yourself from making this physical movement I am performing because you have a weak yin part of the body, which we all know means you are physically and mentally weak. This picture shows an example human being whose body displays the signs of weak yin, meant to be mocked or insulted by the gesture the other man was shown performing. The first thing to note is that both men have one hand up by their face. Even though the man whose body is changed has only one finger sticking up in the air, the hand of his energy body can be visualized as looking almost exactly like the hand of the man making the insulting gesture. The mouth of the man with relatively weak yin is hanging slightly open in a way similar to the way the man making the insulting gesture is opening his mouth. If the man allowed his tongue to protrude naturally from his mouth, instead of consciously holding it inside of his mouth, it would hang slightly outside of his mouth like the tongue of the man making the insulting gesture. The appearance of the left eye of the man with weak yin is the strongest indicator the man does have a weak yin part of the body. The man's left eye is clearly smaller than his right eye. The right eye is nice and round and wide open, while the left eye is smaller and darker. The man's left eye looks smaller and tighter because the entire left side of his face is shrunken. The man's shrunken and weak yin, whose condition was determined by the just pointed out observations about his body, cannot prevent the man's body from making the collection of movements that are being mocked by the insulting physical gesture demonstrated in this picture.